It's come down to the two best words in the NBA and really any organized team sport. That's Game 7. Got my new t-shirt from a friend of mine who works for the Pacers. Got the NBA Finals 2025. Sometimes you just got to be a fan. There's no hiding it. I've been talking about a lot of the NBA, whether it was the Pacers or other teams throughout this playoffs, giving you my takes. But I'm a Pacers fan at heart. Have been since I was a little kid, probably 4 years old. Went to my first Pacers game, and I'm going to continue to be. And this is an exciting moment for Pacers fans. We were here 25 years ago as fans, rooting for the Pacers to win the championship with Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose and Rick Smits. Didn't happen, but now they have an opportunity. It's really good to see these two teams. First and foremost, it's good for the NBA that these two teams have been competitive. They've really given it their all. They've really played well. We've seen some great basketball. We've seen players score 30 points, 40 points. We've seen players have a real solid game. Tyrese Halliburton almost got a triple-double one night. We've seen Pascal Siakam play well for the Pacers. We've seen the Pacers collective team and their bench really step up and show their identity, who they are. Both teams have had great moments throughout this finals. I'm very surprised at how evenly matched the two teams are. I thought that the Pacers would be just so much better offensively and the Thunder would be so much better defensively. But when you look at the numbers, that's not been the case. In fact, actually, in some ways, the Pacers' defense has been better on most nights than the Thunder's defense. Never saw that coming. The Pacers rebounding. They've out-rebounded the Thunder. If you look at the total rebounds for the series, they've out-rebounded the Thunder. Something I didn't see. It's very close. I think only maybe 6 rebounds difference between the two teams. But I thought that was going to be a huge advantage for the Thunder. Thought that the Pacers' three-point shooting would be a huge advantage for them, which it has been. They're shooting about 40% on threes, 46% on corner threes in particular. If you saw my video previewing the finals, I mentioned that corner threes were the Achilles heel for the Thunder, and that has proved to be true. They give up a lot of those, and the Pacers hit a good portion of those in each of their wins. This is going to be really close. It's going to be a lot closer than many people think. Just like they didn't think this series was going to be close, I think Game 7 is going to be very close as well. It's probably going to come down to the last 3 minutes of the game, 4 minutes maybe. And I like the Pacers in that situation because they've done it so many times. They've had, I think, over 20 games where they've come from behind to win in this season and the playoffs, counting the playoffs. And of course, we know the 5 come from behind victories that have happened in the playoffs. So they are conditioned for this. They are prepared for this. They are mentally tough. They know how to execute in those crunch time minutes. I like them. OKC as well, though, is a very good crunch time team. But I wonder if a young team at home with all this pressure is going to be able to step up and face it. That's the only thing that really gives me some confidence that the Pacers are going to win this, is because they have a little bit more experience. They have championship experience in the coaching staff. They have championship experience in Pascal Siakam, who is a key player in this series. And the Thunder, even though Alex Caruso won a championship with the Lakers, he was a bench player. He was a sixth man. He's not the guy that has the experience or the ability to, I think, to really coach these young guys up. Whereas Pascal, he really took on some leadership roles in Toronto before coming to Indiana. And then in Indiana, he's really leaned heavily into that, especially this season. He worked with all these guys in the offseason, in summer, and told them that they were training for a championship. So from training camp, before training camp, during just the summer workout, voluntary workout, all of those guys that got together and worked out, they said they were going to be the best condition and they were going to shock the world. I just feel like they have that advantage, that leadership from your leader who invited them to his gym down in Orlando, Florida, to spend a week and work out. That right there, I think, laid the groundwork for what we're experiencing now. And even when the Pacers were struggling, they got off to that 10 and 15 start. Pascal said that we see that things are coming into place and things are going to work out. He gave the confidence to the team, and I think that his leadership his maturity, his confidence is something that OKC just doesn't have on their bench. Everybody on OKC are great players, wonderful players. I'd love any of them to play on my favorite team. I just don't think they have the makeup to face something like this that's been unseen. Such a huge moment. I could be wrong, though. And if I am wrong, I won't be completely shocked because OKC is a terrific team. They are an incredible team that I haven't really seen before. They don't really mirror exactly any teams that I can think of off the top of my head. They play differently. They play loose. They're a very good young team that's connected and united. They're friends with each other. But when you look on the Pacers side, it's just, you look at the benches and the benches celebrating. It's just everybody is so happy for everyone else. I mean, it's like a party every time someone scores. Every time TJ McConnell comes down and hits a shot, the bench just goes crazy. They go as crazy as the crowd does. That's a special thing. And that doesn't happen on every team, especially not on a good team. Sometimes good teams that have good players, you have some egos and you have some guys that really dominate the ball. And the Pacers don't have that. They are a very free-loving, everybody eats type of team. They truly do share the ball. It doesn't matter. Some guys might get 17 shots. Some guys might get 12 shots. Some guys might get 5 shots. But one thing you don't see is you don't see anybody get 20 shots. And that's one thing you can't say about OKC. OKC relies on J-Dub and Shea to get 18 to 20 shots every night and to score at a high clip. If they don't do that, like we saw in Game 6, they lose. If they don't do that in Game 7, they will lose this game. The Pacers know that they did it once in Game 6, and they have kind of a format. They changed their defense, put Pascal on Jalen Williams more, which I think was a brilliant move, and I wish they had done that sooner. I thought that they could have done that in Game 5 when he was just going berserk. But for whatever reason, they didn't want to go to that. But making that change is huge. Making SGA give the ball up and have to be a playmaker. That's not in his wheelhouse. He can do it, but confusing him by doubling late, doubling early sometimes, pressuring him, not full court. They pretty much abandoned the full court press and just played half court defense. And they did a fantastic job in making that adjustment. I don't think the Thunder were ready for that in Game 6. They were ready to be picked up full court, and they knew how to beat that. And then Rick Carlisle came and threw in a major change to his defensive philosophy and defensive approach, and it threw them completely off. Rick Carlisle is the type of coach that I think he's got one more surprise, one more change, either defensively or offensively, that we're going to see in Game 7 that I think OKC is just not going to be prepared to see. This is why I'm confident that the Pacers are going to win their first championship. And if they do, I can already tell you I'm going to cry. And I don't care. Who knows? I'm not too proud to say that. But when you've been a team, following a team since you were a little kid, and you've seen them come close so many times. You've gotten to the conference finals 9 times, gotten to the finals twice. To see them get close, to finally push through, is going to be a very emotional thing for me. And I look forward to the game. I hope I'm right. I don't know how I'm going to feel if they lose. If they lose, at least I'll know that it was a good team that beat them, a good team that was good all year, a good team that everyone expected to win, and that the Pacers pushed them to the brink. But I think it's going to really nag me and bother me the same way it did when the Pacers lost in 1998 to the Chicago Bulls. They got it to a Game 7. They were up in the fourth quarter, and then they folded. And that stuck with me for many years. Even after they went to the finals in 2000, I still think about that as a missed opportunity. I think the Pacers could have went on in 98 and challenged the Utah Jazz and beat them in 6 games or 7 games just because of how tough the Eastern Conference was back then. So we'll see. But I think this is a new day for Pacers fans, a new day for the Pacers. They have so much history behind them as well. The owner of the Pacers, Herb Simon, has owned the team for 42 years. Never moved the team. He had a couple of opportunities where he could have, and he never wanted to abandon this team that was built in Indiana. That deserves some type of reward. Nancy Leonard, the wife of Bobby Slick Leonard, who helped save the Pacers when they were strapped for cash. They had a telethon and they beat the bushes, and they called and got donors and investors and got the Simons to get interested in it and eventually buy the team. They saved the team. Nancy Leonard is still alive. She's in her 90s, I believe in her middle or late 90s even. She's still alive, still rooting for the team, still excited to see them win. The Pacers have all this alumni that come to the games. And someone mentioned, well, why don't OKC bring in like all of their great players, like, Russell Westbrook and James Harden and Kevin Durant, and I put in a reply, that's not going to happen. These guys are still playing basketball. This team, OKC Thunder team, is only 18 years old. The Thunder didn't exist before 2008. It was the Seattle Supersonics and Seattle Sonics. So Seattle lost their team. They had their team basically ripped from them and moved to OKC. They don't have a lot of longtime legends that have a lot of equity built into this team. Those folks that won in Seattle, they're not trying to go support OKC. And the new stars that they had in OKC, they're still playing. And maybe they're not happy about the fact that the way things went, the way KD was treated when he decided to leave, and the death threats and things that he got. He's still mad about that. James Harden, in effect, wanted more money. They didn't want to pay him, so they traded him. Worked out for him, but I don't think he's going to come back and celebrate an OKC Thunder team getting a championship before he ever got one, when his career is still going on. The Indiana Pacers are the total opposite. You got players from the ABA, you got players from the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, rooting for this team, supporting, feeling involved, that they helped build this franchise up to this point. And the franchise has reciprocated by inviting these guys to the games. Derek McKee is there almost every game. You got Lance Stevenson there almost every game. You got even Jermaine O'Neal and Danny Granger, who had not been back to a Pacers game in person in many, many, many years. They came. I'm seeing all these different players. Detlef Schrempf, who played for the team in the 90s, early 90s, and was traded, kind of unceremoniously. Even he came back to attend the game. There's just something special about this team that even the older players, the alumni of the team, want to be a part of it. And that's just special. I don't see that on the OKC side. Not that they're not deserving, not that they're not special. It's just they're not as special. This is not as special and as big of a moment as it is for the Pacers and the state of Indiana. They were champions before in the late 70s, early 70s rather. 70, 72, and 73. So they know, many people like my father was around when that happened, and they still remember all that. And they're excited about that. And then they taught their kids, like myself, and I've got my son who's a fan of the Pacers. We've got generations, 3 generations generally, sometimes 4 generations of Pacers fans rooting for this team. You don't have 4 generations of Oklahoma City Thunder fans. You have basically 1 generation that's rooting for this team. That's why I feel like this is more important and more special for the Pacers. And those players know all this. Believe me, they know their Pacers history. They see all these older players coming to the games, supporting them. You see how Reggie Miller gives Tyrese Halliburton a hug after every win? Like, he embraces him like he's his son. Like, he is so proud of him, because it's just a special thing in Indiana. And a lot of people didn't get that. A lot of people didn't see that. But hopefully they'll understand and see that this evening. And after they become champions, they'll finally get the respect that they never get, that they've deserved, but that teams have never given them. Because they're not just a little nice team. They would be world champions. And that's what I hope to see. That's what I think the majority of people are seeing. I looked at the Bleacher Report poll today, and about 64% of people are predicting the Pacers will win this game. Now, these are just public people that are on Bleacher Report. And I think many people are starting to see that there's something different about this team. All the game winners and the buzzer beaters, but it started before that. It's the way they built this team. It's the way they got these players through trades. It's the way they made good decisions to keep their young guys that they did draft and develop them and put them in the position to be where they're at now. The way they got Obi Toppin and took him from obscurity, not even getting off the bench in New York, to where he's now averaging 16 points a game off the bench in the NBA Finals, being a huge impact, playing backup center, and really providing a lot of the offense that Miles Turner has not been able to generate. He's saved the Pacers in at least 3 of these games. So that's what makes the Pacers different and so special. It's just that they've got a chip on their shoulder. This is built up over many, many years. And they're filled with players whose original teams gave up on them, felt like maybe they wouldn't be this good. They're also filled with players who maybe weren't highly recruited in college and weren't treated as being as special. Over in OKC, Shea and Jalen Williams, they were top recruits coming out of high school. They were top recruits in college. They went to top colleges, Kansas, Kentucky. They went to these elite schools. So it's a different feeling when you have been doubted and overlooked and had to play for mid-majors instead. It makes you a little bit more of a hungry dog. And I think that's what the Pacers are. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. If you watched this, I appreciated you. I really wanted to highlight and capture how I felt throughout this playoff run. I had a feeling when I started this that something special was going to happen. And win or lose, this has been a special experience. I'm glad that you were able to watch these videos and share it with me. I know some of you are my close friends and family, and I appreciate you, the feedback we've had, the text messages and calls have been incredible. And hopefully we'll have a lot more to talk about in the upcoming days after this game. Thanks again for watching the Tremendous Hustle channel, and I look forward to the next one.